Independent insurance agents have responsibilities to their carriers and to their customers. State regulators feel they are in a similar situation. Maybe because of that, state insurance commissioners sense a natural alliance with agents. In this report from the recent NAIC meeting, regulators from Florida, Wisconsin, Oregon, Louisiana, and Kentucky discuss how they see the role of agents and the relationships with them.
The agents in the state of Florida are licensed under the Department of Financial Services. They are not licensed under the Office of Insurance Regulation. Florida has I would think, a unique system in terms of how it has separated the regulatory functions. The solvency product review functions are under the Office of Insurance Regulation. The agent and consumer services are under the Department of Financial Services. We are co-located in the same building. We have a very close relationship. Obviously, these areas are intimately intertwined together. So we make our best efforts to ensure that we provide the quality service to the people of Florida, whether it's in their agency or in the Office of Insurance Regulation.
I think we have a great relationship with agents. And that's all the way from our licensing area on up to our administration. As I mentioned, Oregon has a history of very collaborative working with our stakeholders. And we have a number of producers on a couple of our insurance advisory committees, and they've been very helpful, giving us the heads up or pointing out areas that we need to focus on. And we have certainly I have an open door policy and meet with agents and agents groups on a very regular basis.
Oh, I think we have an excellent relationship with agents. I'm one of the 12 elected commissioners in America, and I can tell you firsthand, but for the fact that the agents were virtually united in their support for my candidacy, I wouldn't be here. And someone else would be talking to you here today. We continue to have that relationship. I tell them all the time that we have the same role. We represent both consumers and have a fiduciary duty to protect their interests, and companies, and have a fiduciary duty to represent them as well. And that is a built-in conflict of interest, it would seem, but it works well. Works well in our state and every other state, works well for regulators and for insurance agents, but it makes for a kind of a natural alliance between insurance agents and regulators.
We have as I find that licensing an agent is very important. You're handing over authority via a license to an agent, and they need to live up to that license. We don't have a heavy hand about saying this is exactly how you do something. You have to take the education, maintain the education, and a license is a privilege. And so when we run into problems, obviously we look at that license and pull the license, but I do see a very collaborative relationship. As I set up a number of advisory councils on a number of issues, I always have agents at the table from the appropriate issue area, as well as the consumers and the companies. But licensing, I do see as handing over some authority to the agent as an individual, and I think it's important that they take that seriously.
I think it's very important, the agent's role. They are, quite frankly, a lot of times people cannot tell you what company they have insurance with. They'll say, I have insurance with John Brown or with Ken Smith or what have you. And so they have a very good relationship. I think it's between the agent and the policyholder. It's very important, and I've always warned and encouraged and chastised, or whatever you want to call it, insurance companies to have very good communications with their agents, because they're on the ground and they're the ones that consumer is calling when there's an issue.